listeners. Welcome to the Rain Out edition of Ran Out of Talent. This is episode number 3, and guess what? We got rained out of racing at Loose Nuts today. That race will be rescheduled for July 27th, but we still got other things to talk about tonight.
Hi, I'm Marshall. They invited me to come back again, so I'm here, and I'm glad.
We invited Eric also, but he's got a pond going in his basement right now. Plus,
That's not good.
yeah, he hates us too. So,
Well, I don't think it's hatred. I think it's thinly veiled disgust. But, it's not hatred. There's a difference.
okay.
I'm here again too. Don't leave me out.
Yeah.
Our generous benefactor has opened his home for us to talk about toy cars.
Yep. So we should get going with round number 3 of the Super Saturday Electric Series. We did get a round in a few weeks ago. It was at 510 Raceway. It was supposed to be at the outdoor track at Sean Van Dalen's house, but guess what? We didn't get weather. We were supposed to get weather.
Sure, nice to be able to move indoors though.
But the frustrating thing is I just wanted an outdoor race, and it could have happened outdoors. We could have moved it indoors, had the whole operation indoors within 35, 40 minutes.
It's a kind of a tough call there, though, because the setup and tire requirements for the two tracks are vastly different. In order to go fast at 510, you need certain tires. To go fast at FTR's outdoor track, it's something else altogether. So, yes, it could have been moved, but everybody would have had to have brought twice the tires that they were planning on. So, it's a tough call.
It was kind of a rough deal both ways too, because even though indoors it was a great layout, it was a lot of fun to race on. It was Sean wasn't really ready to run indoors either, though. I mean, he just finished that track. We didn't have tires for everyone. I know I wasn't able to get tires for truck, and I'm pretty sure that they ran out of buggy tires throughout the day as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a frustrating situation, I think, for everyone. But at the same time, it was a great layout, and it was so nice to see that track without the oval in the center.
Yeah.
Yes.
It definitely was a
That's for
special
sure.
layout. It was the first couple laps you put on it. The very first couple laps were frustrating. You had to get through the first couple laps. Then after that, once you get the rhythm down, it was a blast. It was fun on the back straight, seeing how hard you could go into that little down and then up that table corner without.
And that's where
Blown
people
away.
were really gaining time in that
You
section,
could-
because you could actually jump that table kind of at an angle,
Yep.
and man, you could.
You
It was-
really needed the balls to do
Right.
it.
Problem is,
It was risky.
you couldn't upset the car over the roller on the way to the turnstile, because if you got the car even off the ground, really, it seemed like all hell broke
It
loose.
seems to be, and maybe I'm wrong, it seems to be something that Sean really incorporates into his tracks pretty frequently. I remember him doing that outdoors a couple of times too, where he'd have certain jumps that you had to like turn in the air, kind of.
Yep, he's a big fan of those. He's a big fan of compression stuff too, where you drop into like a bowl almost, and then jump a triple or something like that. But you're able to do that with a much shorter run up, and when it's built properly, it's a blast.
Yeah, I
love
really
that
like
stuff.
the elevation changes on the new layout.
Yeah, the layout was fantastic.
Yep.
I agree.
So let's go to Sportsman A Main. Joe Koenig won that one with a battle with Zach Van Dalen. They battled it out quite a bit. Zach led quite a bit of that race. Caden Hins actually TQ'd it, but he ended up in 4th spot. He actually wasn't too far off of his brother Alec or Zach Van Dalen. Pretty good race all the way around there, but they're doing the absolute best they can for sportsmen. I was pretty impressed this round. Blinky stock, we had two-wheel drive, yeah, sorry. We had a bunch pre-registered, and it's frustrating when people don't show up, but it happens. We had 9 pre-registered. People didn't show up, or they left, or this or that, or this or that. And whatever. We had 9 pre-registered and 6 raced. Girton TQ'd and won that one. He had a pretty good battle going on with Corey Hins for quite a while, but he pulled away at the end there. Then it was Menor third, Senior fourth, but the battle was for the lead between Greg Girton and Corey Hins.
And Greg prevailed.
Yeah.
I did. There was one spot in there I felt real bad. I hit Corey coming onto the straightaway, and the whole situation was kind of rough. I ended up moving over a lap later and letting Corey just retake the lead.
Yeah.
Because we were just so stuck in traffic, there was no good spot for either of us to move.
Okay.
And then as soon as I moved over, Corey crashed going over the triple.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
Well then, yeah, you could easily take that, no problem.
This sounds like a pay it forward moment from earlier this winter. That picture of me with the back end of your two-wheel drive
classic
car
picture.
in the air at the hairpins. Like, we were just kind of paying it forward. So now,
Yeah.
the next time I race with Corey, I'm probably going to get run over, and then the circle will be complete.
it will, yes. It was a good race, though. I know, Menor had a rough start in that main, but his lap times and everything, he was right there with everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
That was his first race out with that car, so I know he's excited about that.
What's he
and
running
that
for, Chuck?
Cliff
That's the X
Lett,
Factory.
yeah,
Oh, that's right. Yep.
that Cliff Lett paint job had to kill him.
Oh, that was a horrible paint job. Yeah.
It's not 1991 anymore.
Yeah, that was one. It was Tim Larson's car, so
Well,
that was where it came from, and
Moo.
I shouldn't say it's a horrible paint job because I mean, Tim does a great job on the paint, but the color scheme didn't need to be in a car. Not in a regular class, maybe a vintage class or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's old Cliff Lett.
Yeah.
You guys are going to get mad if I show up with all my cars painted with cow paint, aren't you?
We might.
Well, the
You
cow,
might have that right.
the cow paint, it's just what went along with the cow paint.
Right.
That was a little... But, he'll have his green with a checkered board in no time. I'm sure of it.
Put the bunny sticker on top just so he's good to go.
Yeah, I got to carry the spirit of Tim with him.
Yeah.
All right, Pro 2, A-Main, Seth Van Dalen won that one. Hutner finished 6 seconds back. There was no really good battles going on. Seth just crushed. Hutner hung on, but not well enough, basically. Then we had the B-Main stock truck. We had Hunter Holmberg and Clayton Kurt-Luca bumping up from that one.
This would be your mod truck main,
Yeah,
B-main.
mod truck B-Main, sorry. I'm just trying to fly through because we got a few topics to get through today. That was actually a pretty good...
It's a great turnout for this race. And that.
It was mod truck, man. Mod truck and four-wheel drive modified are really tough to beat lately, actually, for turnouts.
It's because they're cool.
Yeah, exactly. They're the easier drives. But Hunter ran away with it, but for that final bump position, it was a good battle from Clayton, Josh Gutowski, Bub, and John Click. They were all there. Click actually had that second place for the first half of the race. Him and Bub were actually battling. Then somehow Clayton kept the cooler head, and he bumped up to the 8.
He's been doing better and better. I'd say the last 6 months, it seems like he's really been putting that truck around. I remember when he first started coming back around again, and that black truck, every once in a while, you kind of wonder what it was doing. But he really has picked it up, it seems like, lately.
Yep. But the B-Main was actually pretty good. A-Main, Marshall Scully won that one.
Yeah.
He definitely had the truck to beat.
That truck was on rails.
I finally got it right. It took a little while. But yeah, I mean, what I suspected was wrong was actually wrong. It just wasn't sprung stiff enough before with all the grip you generate at 510.
Okay.
So you are running the new front end still on that truck?
Yeah.
What did you end up going to for springs and oil?
I have to go back and look, but I believe I had yellows on the front and grays on the back.
Berries.
And then it was about 35 in the front, 30 in the back with 2 by 1.6 flat pistons in front, 2 by 1.7 flat pistons in the back. But the big thing was getting that
Kind of
spring
the
rate
stock
right.
pistons. You just went to the really
Stock
stiff.
pistons, but heavier oil, heavier springs, because I noticed this over the winter there that, when you get the tires broke in and you start generating a lot of grip, the truck was just dumping over everywhere, and that's why it was so hard to drive. So once you got that fixed, it was time to go win stuff.
Yep. Your teammate, your underling, was
My boy,
yeah.
my man.
Neil Venice was on your tail for 5 of the 6 minutes.
Oh yeah, he was right
pushing
there.
you.
Yeah, he was right there, and he just had, I think, like one bobble.
Yep,
That
you ended up
was
2
all it
seconds
took.
back.
Here's a question. I've never seen Chad Lundahl change tires before in truck. What was going on? He was changing tires from the driver's stand.
Yeah,
and-
he was trying to find something, and it made the truck too edgy. He actually started out that race, I believe, leading the first couple of laps,
Right.
and then he did he hit a tube or something. Then
Yeah, it was one of them racing deals. I got into him at the hairpin, and it was in the end it was a racing deal,
Yeah.
but we were so close going into that corner that it was kind of crowded.
yeah, and then he said he might have made a mistake on the tires too.
He was, if I remember right, he was struggling with the tires have, kind of a bell curve life where they're really, really good at a certain wear level.
Yep.
And he had passed the edge and was heading back down the slope with his very worn tires, and he had another set that I think were coming in but hadn't reached peak yet. So he was trying to figure out, could he deal with the very worn tires?
So he didn't actually change tires. He did, but he didn't change a tire compound. He was more
I don't
just
think so.
changing
Yeah, I
from
think he
another
was just
set.
trying to get another set to come on to replace the worn ones, and hadn't
Okay.
gotten there
Yeah.
yet.
But it was also a really good battle between Chad Lindahl and Dan Hammond. They finished a second apart. Then it was John Weeda 5th, Noah Maddox 6th, Gerton here 7th, Hunter Holmberg, your bump boy in 8th, Clayton in 9th, also a bump boy, and Bullet in 10th.
Bullet had some trouble there in the main, but he's putting that new Team Associated car there. He was
Excellent.
yeah, he made the change. A lifer Losi guy making the change to Associated.
To be
Alright.
fair, that Triple
Bullet. That's
X
awesome.
TCR he was running had run its course 10 times over.
Oh yeah, he definitely got his use out of that.
That
truck.
thing was worn out.
Those EA3 suspension arms are just just flopping
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah. All right, Pro 4A main, Scott McTaggart, he had a decision to make when he came into the race day. If he was going to run the Mugen Pro 4 or if he's going to run the Techno. He decided to run the Techno, and he crushed the field.
So it was a question of running either one cheater truck or the other cheater truck, right?
Yes, but the Techno is a more accepted cheater truck.
The Techno cheats less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, technically they do fit in the wheelbase, and that Mugen, that Mugen, man, is a tank if you don't get certain upgrades to it. It's just funny watching Josh drive that thing around the first couple times, Josh Ford, when he first converted to Mugen. Now they're actually looking at doing a Kyosho. You can do the MP9 with the 777 arms.
What?
Yep. Take 777 arms and you put them on the MP9 and make yourself a Pro 4 out of a Kyosho.
A $3,500 truck. Okay.
Hey,
Cool.
whatever it takes, I guess. But here's something that the companies should be making these damn trucks themselves. We should have to figure this out. Everybody's waiting for a real Mugen Pro 4 and a Kyosho and et cetera, and they're lazy or just not wanting to do it, or they don't think there's a good enough market. I don't know what their excuse
I
is,
think
but
that
it is
might
a
be the
poor
thing.
excuse.
Because it seems to me,
Pro 4 is a very popular class across the country. Minnesota's just a little slow on the draw there. I mean, we're still in situations where people are still trying to make like Castle speed controllers and crap work in them, which I tell everybody, don't buy Castle, and I'll say that over and over and over and over again. Don't buy Castle.
So
It's,
we're looking for a Castle
Yeah.
sponsorship here now.
yeah, especially for somebody that runs Pro 4. Those things generate so much heat and all that stuff. And we're still at that level where people are just trying to use cheap stuff to make their Pro 4s work and whatever. But yeah, Scott had the truck to beat. There's Wade in second, Corey Hins third. First time out with the Associated for Corey. Then Tim Brown, your Techno-sponsored driver, ended up fourth. There's Joe Perrin fifth and Braden Stensrud. I had him running both Sportsman and Pro 4. He was really a sportsman driver. He just wanted the track time, so he comes up to me and he's like, hey, can I run this in Pro 4 also? I'm like, sure, as long as you just stay out of the way, which he did. And, you know, he got his track time, and I actually paid his entry fee for his second one, just to get him rolling.
Good.
How
That's
did
cool.
he get the fastest lap?
Oh, yeah, that's because he could hit the loop in such a funny way that,
So that was a short lap?
yeah, that was a short lap, but it made up for it on the next one.
17 followed by a 31.
Well, the thing about it is, yeah, I had the minimum lap time set at such an edge that you could come around and hit it, and it just, yeah, he didn't have the fast lap there. He actually had a SC10 with the Traxxas body on. I thought he was running a Traxxas 4-wheel, and I was going to tell him to go buy an Associated, but he already had an Associated.
Excellent.
Yes, Marshall is creating dominance in the RC market in Minnesota.
To stand on the shoulders of giants.
Two-wheel drive open buggy B-Main. Greg Gerton and Hunter Holmberg were your bump boys for that one. Greg here ran away with the B-Main. And again, another good battle for that second and final bump position with Hunter Holmberg, John Click, John Huttner, and even Dave Witeski was there quite a bit, which I'm glad to see Dave running something besides a little oval. He does a little off-road in the summer, but in the wintertime, he's mainly your oval guy. But, yeah, any one of those guys could have taken the final bump position in the B, and Hunter Holmberg, again, came across in that one. And I have to say to Greg Gerton, again, your stock buggy is faster than your mod buggy.
It is, because throttle control is very, very important.
Yeah.
And I think
Still learning.
I need a mechanical control involved in there too. So going down to the 13.5 helped. I think a 10.5 might be about my sweet spot. I may have to
Okay.
try that.
Well, I mean, in a two-wheel drive modified buggy, you don't want to go any bigger than an 8.5 anyways.
That's
Is
what I
that
have
correct?
in there, and
For 510, it depends on the layout. So, like the layout we had right at the end of the winter, where there was that triple that either made or broke your lap.
Yep.
I had to put a 7.5 in my two-wheel for that.
Okay.
It wasn't much fun to drive
So-
anywhere else, but
Yeah. You don't want to be going down to like a 5.5 or anything like
No.
that. Yeah.
I had some electronical issues though in that race, and I managed to lose both a speed control and a motor. So
Yikes.
it makes me kind of wonder
So-
if there was something kind of up with maybe with one or the other, and it never felt right
Yeah.
either.
That could be. That's a
Yeah.
$280 weekend right
It
there,
was
too.
not.
Boom.
We'll keep that on the down. But yeah.
Yeah.
As we broadcast this over the internet, we're going to keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
Wife's up.
The RC government might be watching.
I don't think she listens.
Yeah.
You don't hope so.
I don't think my wife listens either. I mean, she has a job to where she sits at a cubicle all day and like watches little videos on the internet. The only thing she can't go on is like Facebook. It's blocked, and she still doesn't even listen to this podcast. But you know, she's not really into the whole RC thing. I tried. I really did.
Poor Joe.
Well, you know what? The reason I married her is because she doesn't have a problem with me doing it. I have dumped many, many women who has had a problem with RC.
It's an odd story.
Huh? What, me dumping women's an odd story?
Well, if they have a problem with RC, can't they just do something else while you do RC?
Well, okay, one was the whole overall thing she thought was entirely stupid and idiotic, which she could have been right, but it's what I enjoy doing. And she told me to quit on the base principle because she thought it was stupid and idiotic.
Meanwhile, she's collecting Precious Moments figurines.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, all right.
The next girl I dumped was basically attention whore, and it just kept going down the line, down the line, down the line, and then some acted okay with it. I've had girls say it's either RC or me, and I just kick them to the curb. I mean, it's so amazing how the exact wrong words can make you love a chick to go from pure hatred, and you just don't even care anymore, and you just kick them out.
Joe's a harsh man for harsh times.
Yeah.
He's very binary.
I budge on a lot of things, just some things I won't. And quitting RC car racing is not one of those things I will change.
A man of his principles, Joe Zare Jr.
Nice.
Moving right along.
Great example for all the young kids listening.
Two-wheel drive, modified buggy, main. Chad Lundahl was getting a little bit of redemption. He just didn't crush, but
When's
he...
the last time Chad lost a two-wheel drive buggy race?
the 510 one.
The last 510?
The last 510.
Oh, yeah, because,
Electronic failure.
yep, and Craig won that.
Yep, Craig won the first 510 race. Neil ended up second, 3.5 back. Weed at third. He was almost a lap down. Then his Hammond fourth. Scary here fifth. His Scary had a fast car.
I did until the slipper nut backed off.
That
And I couldn't triple anymore, so that was
That's
the
an
end
issue.
of my challenge.
Then Sean Van Dalen sixth, Seth seventh. And there's Greg Gerton, Hunter Holmberg, and Noah Maddox. Noah's also driving that X Factory.
He went back to AE.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He still has it. He's kind of been flip-flopping back and forth.
Does he have a squared or a cubed?
Squared.
Squared.
No,
Okay.
only
I think
factory
he-
drivers have the cube.
I think
whatever
Cube
their
just
factory
came
is.
out.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
The X Factory guys?
Yeah. Whatever,
I know
whatever they have.
David Fast has a Cube.
Yeah, I saw Fasty has a cube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Yeah.
there's only
He
supposed to be a
has that.
select few that have
Yeah,
it.
he's one of them that has one.
select few. He's Mr. Select X Factory and Select Viper.
Really?
Yeah. I think he's I don't know, did Dave Beam put him on Viper?
I don't know that story.
Did you see that race that we're going to in Iowa? They're giving away an X Factory.
All right.
Yeah, they're giving away an X Cube to the winner, the highest non-sponsored finish in the stock buggy.
Okay, so they've got their...
I thought that was perfect wording.
Yes.
That is.
Because otherwise Alex Sturgeon's going to win it, and he's TLR for life.
Yes.
So,
I was going to say, for a sponsored guy, any other factory, that'd be a sweet eBay sale.
Yeah.
Four-wheel drive open buggy. Marshall took it no problem.
That was fast.
Yeah. Sean Van Dalen second. My old man Joe Senior third. Now I had a car to do something. There's two issues I was dealing with. I ended up all the way down into seventh in this one. I was dealing with brand new rear tires because my other ones just, and then I was running the race day and all that stuff. I was just had a bad day. I actually almost beat Hunter though. That would have been sweet. But Tony Mark's first time around his four-wheel buggy ends up fifth.
Clayton got the
Carluke
bullseye
up
on his
fourth.
back now.
Totally.
Oh no, Hunter! Hunter was having a rough main, and I think it would have killed him if I would have beat him because I was also having a rough main. My car is plenty fast. I like it. That second down, I mean, in the main I didn't have the lap time. In qualifying, I did have the lap times to do whatever. I learned a lot about my driving that day. I could either put down a hero lap and be inconsistent as all hell, or I can run consistently slow.
And you decided which one was better, right?
No, they end up the same.
Oh.
The overall race time ends up about the same. It's just a matter of how you get there.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm doing the same amount of laps either way. It depends if I'm pleased with myself for not crashing or frustrating because I had a really fast car or I crashed too much. But yeah, and then it was Anthony, then Stefan, then Brian Olson.
Did a
Brian
full 10
Olson.
car heat though.
Yeah, full 10 car. Yeah, Brian Olson actually just got married to my sister a couple weeks ago there.
Welcome to married life.
Yep. Then Pro Light A main, Corey Hins won that one by about 9 seconds over Tony Marks.
These are the short course buggies, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The MNRC hot button, we'll call that.
So what do we have to do to get rid of the bus version of short course?
Well, if you want to get rid of Pro 2, all of those guys have to run Pro Light or whatever. You know what? At the end of the season, I'm going to look at it, and
I mean, what's the difference in turnouts? Are we getting the same for both?
it's about the same, and they're both.
Are they the
like-
same people?
Let's see here.
I'm not trying to take something away
Yeah,
from
I know.
people. I was just curious.
Joe Parent runs both, and that's about it. 'Cause
Doesn't Zach
Caden-
run both too, or
No,
does he run
Zach,
buggy?
Zach runs Sportsman. Caden, Zach, and Alec both run Sportsman
Okay.
and Pro Light. I allow the Sportsman guys to run Pro Light because Pro Light is a freshman class, and we're just trying to get numbers. But I like the way the Pro Lights look out on the track a whole lot.
Yeah, they look like they handle so much better than the actual short courses.
Yeah, they don't have a big parachute for a body, and it's, I've had to stop myself like twice now from getting one because they do look like they're fun.
They look fun. I agree.
They are huge in the MNRC right now. We have anywhere between 12 and 15 each round.
I mean, everyone always needs another class, Marshall.
Right. I need another class. I got another hole in my head
That's
right
the thing,
now.
too. Once you get rid of those stupid RTR bodies and paint one in, like, your color scheme, they look so much better out on the track, too. Corey's car looked real nice.
Yeah, and they look like they handle pretty well too. You know, there's more speed to be had out of them, but at least they look like they're on the right track. They don't look like like an elephant.
Well, right now everybody's on
Race.
spec tires, even in my series, because everybody who runs my series with the Pro Lights also runs MNRC, and they run spec tires on the MNRC. If you were to put a different tire combo on there, those cars would be
Yeah, you
quick.
can make them real quick if you can change tire.
Yep. So that's it for Super Saturday Electric Series round number 3. And again, round number 4 was canceled today. Sadly.
But we are going to run it.
We're gonna run it. It's just postponed. We're actually gonna run it after the Minnesota State Champs coming up in a couple
How does
weeks.
that work for July? We're going to have a race July 8th for the state champs.
No.
Right? Is it
July
that weekend?
11th
11th?
or 12th through the 14th. I want to say. Let me pull up my calendar.
When's the Nitro Series that month?
The weekend after.
So you're going to have 3 weeks in a row. When's the next SSES race?
The 27th
Of?
July.
No, after that.
After that,
August
week
is
after that.
Duluth, right?
Yeah, the first week of August.
Blimey. It's a lot of racing.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of racing, but it's got to get done. And July 27th was the only weekend I have open until the end of the season. And that is
So hopefully between some of those we can get some non-rain race days.
You're asking for way too much, Greg. I'm sorry, but you just are. That is
If you schedule a race every weekend, one of them's got to work.
Well, Nitro Series worked out last week.
well,
right?
barely.
So,
We got. We'll talk about that next. Minnesota Nitro Series again. We don't have results. I actually have the laptop. They left all the equipment, including the laptop, at North Branch because we're back-to-back weeks, or we're supposed to be. So I have the laptop, but Seth Van Dalen pretty much crushed in buggy. And Josh Ford had a fast buggy, but his inner clutch bell bearing basically exploded and held the clutch shoes wide open.
oh dear.
So if he stopped, he flamed.
Oh dear.
If he hit his brakes, he flamed. So
Did I see
Sounds
something?
like a lot of work.
Did I see something from Jeff Ford too, saying that they had just replaced the clutch bearings too?
yep, they were brand new.
That's what you get for trying to be prepared. That's
Yeah.
that's what you get.
Yep.
I
See,
love ya.
I always My clutch bearings were ridiculously oiled. I took them out of the package, and then I took some of the, well, whatever you use for motor bearing oil. I use a red Phantom, but whatever you use, everybody uses something different. And I just soaked them until the paper towel was red. I had them on, and I've never had a clutch bearing failure. But I also replaced them twice a weekend.
That's the
Everybody-
thing.
Everybody could just run a vintage gas truck class.
It's
Less
gonna,
power.
you know what?
Less power, less traction,
3
less
years.
size, just less of everything.
3 years. Gas truck will be hot again.
So I got mine. I just need a motor.
You know why? Because gas trucks have suffered all these years on these massive A-scale tracks, and we're finally making them 10 scale friendly, and it's finally seemed to have died in Minnesota.
You could really get some upgrades on those gas trucks with big bore spray.
Yeah, no,
I have a question, Joe.
What?
Have you ever raced gas truck?
yes, I enjoyed it.
Have you ever raced a good gas truck?
Yes, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
But on a
right.
very, very good track. The only two places I ever raced gas truck were Midwest Hobby when I was in Village North, Clay, Blue Grooved. That's funny. A good story there. We were running gas truck, and there's a Circus Pizza right next door.
I remember that, yeah.
But that was a blast. Wheelie pulling action there, and then I ran one up in Starbuck once, and that was really fun.
That once I put that dynamite motor in that GT2, I really
Yeah.
actually had a lot of fun with.
And
gas
that's the
truck.
problem,
I
they're
was just the
overpowered.
same speed with gas truck as I was my electric.
You
mod.
don't need a horsepower and a half.
But it's more fun when you have it.
I would agree with that, but when I went to the right motor, something that was controllable, I was turning the same lap times between electric and mod.
I had two engines in my gas truck when I had one. It
Like
was
one was a Nova Rossi.
the first one was a Nova Rossi
Yeah.
that when I bought it, A-Main Hobby said it was an off-road motor. When I looked again later on when I was trying to find plugs for it or something like that, I found out it was
Drag racing?
it was a square. So basically the bore matched the stroke.
Yep.
That thing was a heater sedan engine. So
Oh.
so that thing it was real fast. It was real fast. I think it was that engine that the Nitro Series round at Sean's outdoor track that year, and I think this was 9. It was either 09 or 10. In practice, my gas truck ran with Sean's 8th scale down the back straight. That thing was real fast. And it
That's
was
a bit much.
real hard to drive, but it was fast.
But that's the thing. One of these days, it will make a comeback. Everything makes a comeback eventually.
You know what's cool though now is they actually are making. They started, I think Associated is selling a gas short course now,
Right, yes.
and they started
Yeah.
selling motors for that now.
Okay.
So you can actually buy motors that are pretty much designed for that two-wheel gas
Yep.
truck version.
I think if I'd have spent more time on clutching and tuning and whatnot, I could have made it
It
easier.
really is.
The engines I had, it was basically like trying to ride like an 83 YZ80 with a bad reed valve, so just like just go crazy when you got on the bike.
My gas truck was actually probably smoother than my electric.
Oh wow, okay, that's
Well,
not that
my
was
dad
not my
ran
experience with
gas
gas truck.
truck in 07. And we were at Eveleth, and he figured out the low horsepower thing. He accidentally put his servo horn for the throttle servo on wrong, so he's only getting half throttle.
Oh, okay.
That would
Yeah,
make
that
it
would-
easier.
Yeah,
I couldn't figure out why he was so slow, but
He was going like
top
20
qualified the weekend.
Nice.
He's going like 24 minutes on a tank.
Yeah, yeah. That track, Eveleth, the worst track ever produced in the history of Minnesota, but we'll hit on that.
Tell us how you really feel, Joe.
I think
Don't
your
hold
dad
back.
may suffer from the same syndrome as me, though. I think we're just stock drivers.
Yeah. My dad is enjoying running stock, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
It's
And it's not because stock is
Yeah.
more expensive every way you look at it if you're
Yep.
going to do it competitively.
Yep.
Right.
But the speeds that are involved with
The
stock
speeds are
racing
way
is
more
where-
controllable.
where
They're
I-
more humane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're more just your regular everyday driver type speeds.
Yep. And anyways, getting back to him and RC, it's so easy getting sidetracked.
Tangent.
Is that what we were talking about?
Yep.
So you guys got it in without rain, huh?
Oh no, we got rain on
That's nice.
Saturday. A good delay there.
Why not?
Yeah, actually, that really made the track pop, though. It was that.
Pictures of that groove was pretty nice.
Oh man, if a picture of an RC track could. No, I'm gonna
Let's
stop
be
that
careful
thought
there,
right
Junior.
now.
You're
Stop
getting way
that
off
thought right now.
There.
Another tangent. Here we go. See ya.
That track looked like it was on the national level, which it was. That groove. They were running slicks on it in the middle of the week, and they were
That's
traction
right.
rolling.
Yeah,
With
Danny
these
Williams
skills.
said he went back out there on, Wednesday, I think it was, and
Yeah,
was still able to run slicks even after dust had been blown on the track.
that's just awesome.
We've seen that before. That
Yep.
track will do that if you get
If you don't,
get it rained on at the right point relative to the
Yep.
racing, it'll groove out like that.
yep,
That
it's
layout looked pretty fun too.
the layout's fun.
Yeah,
It
it's a good
had
layout.
I didn't see anything ridiculous there.
it had a monster
jumps.
jump in the back, but you didn't have to take it like a monster jump.
Yeah, you could you could triple to a table and then drop off the table, so that was manageable. If you had the cojones, you could jump the entire complex and
Four
land the
mile.
backside of the
Last year, the
table.
back right corner had a really crazy jump.
Yeah, that was a big. That was a double with a giant pit.
I remember losing my car a couple of times back there.
Yep,
Oh
yep.
dear.
And Tim specifically built this track so it was more 10 scale, whatever.
It looked a lot nicer. I mean,
It was.
obviously I didn't run a lap on it.
Wait
but
until we do.
It looked
but,
really nice.
Yeah, it looks like it
What
would
did
be
I go
fun.
through here? The buggy main. I went through the buggy A main, truggy A main. Josh Ford crushed it. No one could touch that Mugen. Mugen truggies this year, actually the last 2 years.
So Buggy, who won Buggy again?
Seth Van Dalen
Seth did.
by
And
a ton.
Hasn't it usually been reversed? Doesn't Josh usually lately seem like he's winning the Buggy and Seth has been getting the Truggy?
Buggy is one of those. Everybody's got their track. Not even though each. Okay, I'll go out on a limb and say Seth and Josh, and to an extent Tony Slutton are equal drivers. They can each win an A main in the MNRC, but they're only able to win on certain tracks. Josh can win here where Seth can't, Tony can win here where Josh can, etc., etc., etc.
Is that a track thing, or is that a matter of one of those three got their car right on that day?
Both.
Okay.
You need the track and the car to be perfect to win a nitro race in
Right.
this state. The
Right.
car's got to be perfect. And you know when you blow an inner clutch bearing and your clutch gets stuck open, that's
Well, Josh drives so punched anyway. I'm surprised to even be able to tell.
I know. they actually got him in going full fuel runs now. He doesn't have to stop early anymore. That's some new restrictor made by Clockwork.
Okay.
So other guys are making about 13, 14 minutes with it. He's making about 8.
Sounds about right.
So,
Yeah, that sounds about
but
right.
he can get a 7.5 in where he was only getting 6 before.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. But Truggy, Josh just crushed. Seth in second and Tony in third. You know, our bump boy Stefan Benende ended up 7th overall, which has
That's good.
it's really cool that he's finishing mains now.
Very good.
Rob Petrick, I remember the B main needed his truck adjusted because he had a qualifying tune put in, and then Tim Slutton kept seeing him flame out, so he just grabbed his truck and started tweaking on it, and Rob will be good for the next round.
Well, assuming the air temp's about the same and the humidity's about the same, and he's got
Yeah,
some fuel.
he was quite a ways
Where's
off.
the next race at?
Okay.
The next race is going to be at full throttle.
When's that
Very
coming
good.
up?
That's going to be middle of July. We'll hit that at the end of the podcast here, because it will be, practice day will be on my 31st birthday.
Yep. Happy birthday. And you're in your 30s now, so the downward slide has begun.
I'm actually considering college now. I don't want to get shanked at work, so that is a serious threat now,
Oh,
believe
dear.
it or not.
Oh boy.
All right, so that's about good for results. I mean, because all I could really remember are Truggy and Buggy. Exciting racing though overall. Nobody really. I mean, I think Tony Sletton finished the lead lap on Buggy, and I think Seth Van Dalen finished on the lead lap in Truggy, and that's pretty good to have two vehicles on the lead lap in a half-hour main.
Okay, they are still running half-hour mains for
Yeah.
them. Okay,
But we're doing half-hour across the board now.
okay.
The C's and B's are also half-hour.
Oh, okay, cool.
Everybody gets their money's worth no matter what,
Yes. Okay.
except for those poor guys. We have situations where, let's say we run our B mains, we have guys running the B mains. They run in a basic hour straight because it's usually the same guys in the B's for both Truggy and Buggy class. And then they gotta go up an hour, and I've seen them bump with both and have to do another hour. That can be a little brutal.
Hey Joe, the sun's
Sure.
out.
Suck it. The sun and I are fighting right now.
All right, so what's our first topic we're jumping to here?
Well, we could either talk about. Well, let's start out on a positive note. The
It's
RC.
always a good thing. This is supposed
Yeah.
to be positive.
Yeah, well, not everything's going to be positive all the time, because we do have some touchy subjects to talk about. I want to talk about the RC10 coming
And it's
re-release.
Hey, I pushed this 3 years ago up in Duluth,
But you
and
pushed.
I was one of like 4 that bought cars. I was the only one that ever put it on the track, though.
You're the only one.
You're the man.
You push for vintage.
So what's the difference between this and Gold Tub?
You pushed for vintage. That means I could run a Kyosho Ultima.
I don't care if
could
you
run
run
a
Kyosho Ultima, the
JRX2.
Gold Tub was better.
I could run a JRX2.
If you want to,
I could run a JRX Pro. I could run a team car.
put
Could I
yourself
run a
behind the
B2?
curve, you go for
Could
it.
I run a B2?
Sure.
See, no.
I'd still take the Gold Tub.
This Gold Tub has done two great things. It's going to create another strong class, maybe even in Minnesota. Maybe. Another thing it did was it's going to knock down the stupid prices that are getting for the new and box ones. People paying $1,200 for a sealed
for
box.
the
and
It might not, because, that's still,
I heard they made changes to it so that you knew which one you got it from.
yeah, there's no
there's
way you're gonna.
a stamped whatever.
Yeah, I'm not real familiar with the vintage stuff. I know that there's differences in the kits based on whether the kit came from the Cadillac Avenue location or the second location where they were building them in Fountain Valley.
There's people that know how to tell. I don't know
Yeah,
how. Because
yeah.
that car I've got in the back,
Yep.
it sounds like I have like one of the parts is off of a, I don't even know what it is, a DS or something like that.
The touring car.
The weird touring rally.
I've never even
hybrid
heard
car.
of this car, but apparently I have a part off of there on mine.
Right.
I'll tell you what, with the RC10 DS, if I could make that into a VTA car legally, I would.
I
to
don't know.
handle those tires, that would be a very dialed car.
Yeah, because it's two-wheel
And,
drive.
and then I've got these old shocks with E-clips, and
Yep.
so it's like, I mean, but yet it's not the gold pan. It's like a team
Oh, you got the
edition.
black-
Yeah, you had a team car. It's a
Team car
team
with
car with
gold
stealth
shocks.
transmission.
Yep.
But somehow you got the wrong generation shocks on it.
Yeah, it's just
kind of
however it
that
ended up getting put together.
wrong shock towers.
I remember there was a championship edition back in the day. The championship edition originally was the top pro kit, and then it turned into an RTR. The championship edition featured the black carbon arms right before the Kinwald edition came out. I remember my good friend bought a championship edition back in 1993. We're seeing photos of Brian.
Kinwald edition of the.
No, he had a championship edition in 1993. We were seeing photos of the Kinwald edition, which was released in 1994, and they had the black arms. His championship edition came with the black arms as an RTR. Bushings, everything came with the black arms. I don't know if it was a mix-up or what, but I offered him ridiculous amounts of money for those stupid A-arms that he wouldn't take it.
That's probably for the best, because I don't believe those arms were carbon.
You know?
They were black. black, but they were still just
You don't
nylon.
think they were the same as the Kinwald edition?
No, well, the same arms as the Kinwald edition, or what's really the World's car.
Yeah,
It wasn't
World's.
called the
Yeah.
Kinwald edition.
I call it the
Had
Kinwald.
Kinwald's
That-
paint on it.
Yeah, that's why I call it the
But
Kinwald
it was a
edition.
World's car.
You're correct. You are.
And it had black arms, but they were still nylon. They weren't
Okay.
they weren't carbon infused like the like you see on the B4s now.
See, well, we saw black arms and we went batty.
So the new car's coming with the
It's like when you shine a laser light in this room, Joe just starts running around.
Get cat.
Yeah.
Oh, Wilford as a cat.
That's a scary thought. But okay, it comes with, yeah, you're correct. It comes with the original 6-gear
And you said
transmission.
bushings.
Bushings, I read. Did you read bushings also?
I really haven't read it closely, to be perfectly
I
honest. I'll find
swear
out
I
when my
read
kit shows up.
Bronze bushings.
It's not coming with these ugly E-clips on my shocks, right?
It's coming
don't know what
with
to tell ya.
the original shocks.
That's these ugly E-clip
Yep,
shocks.
this is going to be
Oh.
E-clips. Okay, what are you talking about now? The
I
E-clips
have
that you
E-clips on
build
the
them?
bottom of the shock.
Yeah, the clip to hold in the seal assembly at the bottom of the
Oh,
shop.
yeah, that happened.
C-clip.
Yeah.
C-clips.
That happened until the V2 shocks came out, isn't it? Yeah, even with the newer, up until the V2s came out.
No.
2010.
They used to be able to snap in. The old ones snapped
Yeah,
in.
it wasn't. What they did was the first running change of the shock was they went to a hard anodized body,
Yep.
but it still had the seal assembly at the bottom of the shock. Then they came out with
The snap.
kind of the V1.5 shock, for
Yep.
lack of a better term. That was where the seal assembly loaded through the top of the shock.
Yep, okay.
And that was where you had the little white tool to push
Yep.
the seal assembly in.
Those were good shocks.
I
I'm
have
okay
about
with those.
Yeah,
25
that
of
one's
those
fine.
white tools.
But if they
that-
come out with these ones with the C-clips on the bottom, that's...
But
Then
dude,
let's
it's
go
an
back to listening
original
to the
buggy.
mixtapes and getting out my van.
Yeah, that's just not going
And
to cut it.
I'm gonna have to go find my 77 Cutlass I was
We
driving.
might
at
as
the
well just start
time.
driving Hornets again or something.
Totally.
No, that might be the way it is. I'm not sure about the shocks, but they are gold shocks.
Yeah.
Something just got unplugged. I don't know what that is. But anyways,
That's been unplugged.
oh, cool. Okay.
Shiny thing.
Better
I was,
not have been
I was
unplugged.
shining the laser into the table, and that's when he saw it. So.
No, but
Get it!
it really comes though. They changed they made it so it'll fit a lipo battery.
Okay. I'm curious to see the car. I'm looking forward to getting my kit. One thing I'm most curious about is which front suspension arms will it have? Will it have the stubby ones?
Short.
Will it have the short ones?
ones.
Okay. All right.
Here's my question. I was thinking about making a spec class for this for next season.
Mhm.
But I want to run modern rims on the rear end. What would you have to do? Like, what kind of axle would you have?
Duratrax. It's the B3 rear axle,
Okay.
and it's a Duratrax wheel. That's what I have on mine in the other room.
And I would not be surprised if you see wheels become available from Associated again.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but
Okay, yep.
I would not be surprised if they suddenly start to appear again.
Although they are selling it with the vintage tires
Yeah,
right
vintage tires
I
and
think the
rims.
three-piece wheels and the old
now. Yeah.
the old three-piece wheels and the old
What would be really
Two-inch-
cool is if you could
2-inch
see.
front tires and 1.6 rears.
What would be great, although I highly doubt we'll see it, is if you saw like J-Con come out with a tire that would fit that old wheel.
You know, you
That'd be
never
cool.
know. J-Con's
cool.
been going.
Just one.
Yeah.
One vintage like double D.
And then all I gotta do is find. I know somebody's making these still. The reproduction bodies are. It's called the RCPS Turbo Mirage.
But I think they're coming out with
You know-
bodies.
Yep. I remember
you
when.
can get a replica of this body, and
Yep.
that body was choice. That was the body
really?
to have.
I remember RCPS had sweet titanium tie rods back in
Yeah.
too.
Yep, they were cool. Technocraft used to have really nice titanium tie
Yeah.
rods.
But the thing about it is, what I really wanted to discuss about this whole thing, about a Class C, people are liking my idea about this.
Pure spec.
Pure spec, one speed controller, one motor, one battery, one body, one tire. I can't exactly spec the phone, but I could say open cell.
I think that's justified enough. Honestly, when you're getting into a spec class, if you can tell me that one motor with the same manufacturer and one speed control, same manufacturer
Yep.
again, same battery, you're not having to worry about somebody going out and buying the new 120C battery.
Yep.
And, things like that. I I really think, obviously, with any spec class, there's always going to be a variance. Somebody's going to find a way to make their stuff better. But you're limiting it and making it a lot harder, and the differences are going to be so minimal from the top to the bottom. It's going to be closer racing.
The thing with the RC10 is why it'd have to be so spec, even with the 6-gear tranny. You put a stealth transmission in, you are going so much faster.
But you put that stealth transmission in, you're almost to a modern day buggy. I mean, they still run the same transmission.
Yes, it's the same basic, different ratio, same transmission. It's, the original stealth was a 2.25.
Let's face it, the buggy, even the old buggy, it's not a bad buggy. It still drives pretty good.
Yeah.
So you're not really going, I mean, it's vintage, but it's still going to give you, for a stock spec class, it really gives you an opportunity to run something that's, it's not modern day, it's not going to have all the, you're not going to have big bores on it. It's not going to take those 10-foot jumps the same way.
That's the other thing. Your shocks have to be gold. Your chassis has to be gold. I know there's no real difference between the gold and the black. My dad ran the gold from day one until the day he got rid of that car. He was one of the only people who kept the gold. He's like, why? I like it. What's the difference? I mean,
The World's chassis did have some extra machining in it, so
That's
it was a different chassis.
the World's chassis, but the original Team Car chassis.
Yeah, the Team Car chassis, the first black one was the same.
Yeah, the first black one is just a hard anodizing with the regular anodizing. That was the difference.
Right.
Yeah, the World's car, and then, what was it, a year after the World's car came out, they came out with the B2 or whatever.
Well, the thing I like about this class is I could see, so the biggest class in on-road really right now in the state of Minnesota is VTA.
No.
It's not even, I don't think it's even
And
close.
then the fight started.
Even maybe 12 scale stock.
12 scale stock is the biggest. By far. Well, not by
You go back to Roll the Wheels, man, VTA was right there.
Okay, you take the split classes maybe.
You go,
The
so
stupid split
say
classes.
we go to even at MMR. You go and you take their 12 stock versus their VTA. They have C mains in the VTA.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is a money situation right there too. You got guys running VTA who are broke and can't keep up with the 12 scale, which is why they're running VTA. And I could see that happening with the RC10. You keep things
Well, not
cheap.
really, because you're looking at making it so that it's only spec. So even my car over there doesn't qualify.
Nope.
That's as close as I can get, and it doesn't qualify.
You would have to buy an RC10.
I would. So you're talking about buying a $200 car to make this class
250.
work.
250.
But
Plus speedo, plus motor.
yeah, so it's not going to be cheap. That's going to sell people on it.
Well, it's going to be, hey, cool, this is an old car. Right?
Yeah, but the vintage idea may sell a lot of people on it.
Yeah.
And the spec idea could sell a lot of people.
And another thing is I'd have to spec you couldn't drill any extra holes in the shock tower or this or that.
So you look at like stock buggy. I love stock buggy. Obviously, we've talked about it throughout every other podcast we've had too. So it's a different class, but at the same time, you're looking at speccing this class to a speedo, a motor, a battery, a car.
Yep, and there are no second options. If it's not in stock, tough titty.
But I like that. And the thing that's great about the off-road version and doing it this way is, unlike VTA and on-road, you don't have those $500 X-ray sedans out there
The cars are different.
with a vintage body on it.
Yeah. There's that.
I go out there with my TC4 decked out. I spent more money on that TC4 than it would have cost me to buy an X-ray.
that is silly.
But I did it to prove a point.
You're spending money on the worst touring car in history.
I like that touring car, and it worked just fine.
As long as you don't put any horsepower in it, that car's fine.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
talking about
VTA,
some
there you go.
small horsepower
yeah.
requirements.
Yeah. 21.5 with 3-volt battery.
17.5 or
25.5.
Right, with a 3-volt battery, and
Yeah.
it's fine.
I did find, personally, I like the tub chassis better.
Don't
know why.
It's VTA.
But it's better. My tub chassis 25.5 is.
By the way, since we're talking about VTA, my VTA car is for sale.
Should go with a nice little plug there.
Why not? We're a little off course. Why not?
So everyone knows Whiteside's the one that rebuilt that car, right?
Yes,
Not you, right?
I have a Whiteside special edition. The car is fantastic. Believe
The driver wasn't, but the car is good.
the car is great. I just going for me. A lot of people can do this, but I don't have the proper talent to go from a pan car to a VTA car. My 12 scale.
Because the VTA is too fast?
No.
Is that it?
A VTA car, even the best of them, handle like, let's say, a fat man trying to race a Harley in a crotch rocket race.
So another way to put it is they always handle like a 71 Ford Country Esquire wagon with bald front tires.
Yep.
Sounds like fun.
So we're going to get back on topic here.
Yeah.
The point is, next year, we're going to see a new class.
Yep.
And it's going to be vintage.
Which means
It's going to be cool. It's not going to be vintage. It's going to be gold tub. The gold tub class.
Yeah, it's going to be RC10 only. No JRX2. I had this discussion. You add other cars, it is no longer a spec class.
Yeah, that's true.
So it is nice. I know we got some feedback today and some discussions that we won't repeat, but
Ray Kruger was ecstatic.
the spec tire, I think, was the interesting part for him.
He perked right up.
Yeah, he's been looking for that for a while now.
But you know, the car itself, though, in general, running a class where everybody's spec, I think that's something everybody gets a little bit excited about. We'll see how much we actually get for a turnout. You know, you are conflicting with
Here's
other
something.
cars and other classes. So.
I got to take away SC class for this to happen properly.
Oh, I mean,
Oh boy.
that's sad.
Then the fight started.
Yeah.
So why don't we wait and see who signs up for what?
You know
before
what?
we start
We
going?
just had a
I gotta see
listener
the rules
request.
package.
Yeah.
We just had a listener request. I was checking my phone like a dink.
We have that?
Oh yeah, we got a message.
Oh my.
They want to know exactly how the MNRC point series works. And there's been, okay, everybody else talk. There's no comments,
Going on?
no feedback, nothing. Because only one person needs to talk, and there's been too many people talking. So how this works is, you can have
You're not censoring me, are you?
No, I'm not censoring you. I'm just shutting everybody up. Hold on. I don't even want to hear if it's a bad idea or a good idea. Because what we're trying to do, we're trying to get turnouts at some of our smaller turnout races because we do not want to lose these tracks. And it's not their money, it's our money we're losing, okay? So, for the MNRC, we're running, okay, you can get a maximum of 707 points. How you get those are totally up to you. If you want one throwout, you have to make one of our double points races. We have 2 double points races. So if you want 2 throwouts, you got to make both double points.
So you can get 2 throwouts.
You can, but you gotta make
Both double points races.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna miss one,
If you make one of them, you still can have one throwout.
one throwout.
If you miss both double points
If you
races,
miss
you
both-
don't have a throwout.
if you miss both double points races, you're not in it. You gotta make at least. Okay, here's the deal.
Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, if you hit 5 of the races that aren't double points, you can only get 505 points. Max. That kind of takes you out of it. So now, if you want to get one throwout, let's say you want one single points race throwout, that will give you, you can get, if you want to miss one single, you got to hit a double. And you'll end up, basically, if you okay, let me start over.
So that allows you to miss one double and one signal?
You could miss, if you miss one double, you got to hit the rest of them. You got to hit 6. Okay, one double, you got to hit 6. If you hit both doubles, you can miss 2 single points. It's a little frustrating sometimes, and it's a little confusing. Go ahead, you got something to say.
My understanding of that system, and I didn't really look at it closely, but basically, you really need to make both double point
Yes.
choices. You have to go to both.
You don't have to
can't-
go to both.
You don't, well,
You
it's
don't have
certainly in your best interest to.
It is. You can get 707 points if you make 5 regular races and 1 double. Okay?
Okay.
You can still get the 707. But it is, Jeff Ford even said in the beginning of the season, it's in your best interest to make both double points races.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that would be the idea behind double points.
Yeah, and we did it so you make the double points races. We don't want to cut Duluth out of our program. We love Duluth. We don't want to cut Ricks out of our program. We love Ricks. We need the numbers.
Duluth was one of the double points races?
Yes, Duluth is one of the double points races. Because what happens is, after they pay me, there's not much left. Okay? You got to realize I am taking. Okay, let's say.
Probably don't need to get into specifics.
I'm not getting into specific numbers, but
Let's get back to the point.
on 100 entry day, I'm taking 3/5 of the money myself goes to me on 100 entry day.
The rest of it mostly goes to the track owner.
No, I'm taking 3/5 of the Nitro Series cut.
Yeah.
The track owner gets their cut regardless, and they do whatever they please.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This last race, Tim Sletton broke even on the track build and everything for the Nitro Series race. And my race was going to put him in the black and into the green, but rain happened.
That's all right. We'll fix that in July.
Yeah, we're going to fix that. But anyways, yeah, Nitro Series, if you want to throw out, you make the double points. Period. You want 2 throwouts, you make 2 double points. It is in your best interest to make both, but hold on.
You're good. You're good.
Okay. It's in your best interest to make both, but you don't have to. But you have to make at least one.
So, without going into too much detail, where was the confusion with this?
I don't even know. I just started reading.
Was there a change in how the points were being structured in the middle of the year? Because that was the gist I was getting from
for
question
one
that came
party. And here's the deal is, and the couple parties will not accept this. The Nitro Series made a typo when they were writing it out.
Fine. So I don't
And
care about who's right or who's wrong.
We didn't catch it.
What is it now? How is it now?
How is it now?
Is it the way you just explained it?
Yeah, it's the way I explained it.
What was the typo?
The typo, you had to make best 5 of 7, period. That was the typo.
But that's true.
It's true if you make both double
If
points
2 of
races.
your double points races are in that 5, it's still true.
That's still true, but we weren't specific enough.
So people thought that if they made the other 5 but missed the double points, it was okay.
They could still be in it.
Well, that's
And
understandable,
that's
I guess.
understandable where the
Yeah.
hostility ensues. And
If I were worried
understand.
about points, which I've never really been, honestly, I've been one of those racers that never really cared about points that much.
Yeah.
But if I were worried about points, I guess
tried
that
harder
would
to
worry
care
more. I gotta race one
it's-
class maybe or something.
It's a very unconventional system of trying to save 2 tracks that we love. We can't keep going.
Well, where would we go if they didn't do those 2 tracks? So I'm obviously very biased to Duluth, and
Yeah.
if you don't know me, that's why
I
you don't know
think
that.
we'd always go
'cause
Duluth. I think
I will always be biased to
I
Duluth.
think the big risk was Rick's.
Okay, but even Rick's, which I'm trying to remember.
We'd
that
add
one
another
right
to
now.
somebody else.
But where?
Right now Slutton's got 2. So then maybe we'd add.
One has 2 races?
No, this is a deal now. Slutton, we don't know where race number 2 is going to ensue until it happens. It's either going to be on the
Hold on, you have a
Hades
race that you
grounds.
don't know where it's going to go yet?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You
It's
got
either
one
going to
of
be on the
your-
Hades grounds or it's going to be at Tim's.
The heydays where that's where they did. Isn't that where the X Fest? This is
No,
all
it's
way
different.
previous
No.
to my time.
Yeah, this is different.
Hades isn't before your time. Hades goes on every weekend after Labor
What
Day.
goes on the same weekend as heydays that I always miss it?
Utter Madness, which is no longer that weekend.
Oh,
Okay.
So Heydays is a blast, but okay, we would race at the Heydays track, but it wouldn't be during Heydays. Heydays is the biggest grass snowmobile drags in the country, and to hold a weekend race there would be just about impossible. Just to get the racers back and forth from the track and all that.
Yeah, they're on something like 40 acres, I think it is.
Yep.
Maybe more than that.
Yep.
But it
I've actually heard feedback from people that went to heydays before.
Where
I
they-
know it was a
where
great
they-
advertisement for racing.
Yeah,
People
for
would
sure.
talk about seeing the cars,
Yeah.
and they couldn't believe, I mean, because it was always the A scales, the nitro, everything else.
The first 2 years we were there, we were right by the concession stands, the food and whatnot. When we were running the RC cars, the food booths were extremely busy. And then when we stopped for a break, that whole area died down and they all went somewhere else. And then the food people are like, start it back up, you're our business.
It was the same thing kind of with the World of Wheels up in Duluth.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They don't
We end up with more of a crowd
The
with the World of
The
Wheels than we
Stearns
do.
County Fair. Sean Van Dalen holds a race at the Stearns County Fair, and we get bleachers full of people. The 4-H people get pissed because we're not looking at their cows and whatever. I mean,
Yeah, no, and those kind of races are just great for the hobby
yeah,
because you never know. You may get one diehard racer out of all of that.
yeah.
And it's possible.
It's worth it because it
just-
doesn't cost us anything to be there except
yeah,
for time.
just that one racer.
Yeah.
You're just. It's such a small, tight knit community
Yeah.
that it's nice to see
Well-
when you can get that exposure. to
I
other
mean,
people.
yeah, the RC community is small. I mean, think about just RC cars. I'm not talking planes, boats, all that. RC car racers. How many think that there are in the world? 100,000?
in the world.
Yeah.
Racers versus backers.
Racers, just
correct?
racers. Racers are what count here.
Yeah, that number might even be on the high side a
Yep.
little bit.
Yeah, because there's about literally.
I'm sure it's in the 10,000.
Yeah.
I think it's actually and
If you talk bashers, there's about 10,000.
Yeah, that
there's
doesn't
about
count. There's a lot
10,000. There's about
that's where the
10,000
hobby-
T-Max.
that's where the companies are making their
Yeah.
money is off the bashers, not off the racers.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But yeah,
I think it's been growing though. It's weird. So many, like I talk to people and they talk about we used to get so many more
because
racers,
you
things like
get
that.
bored
But
backyard bashing.
But I agree with that. In our area, it may be down compared to some other areas. But you go to some of these big races. Marshall, I've gone to Spectrum with you, and you're talking 350 entries there. And I mean, they're shutting things down. They're rejecting people.
Yeah, right.
And there are races like that. It just you have to really kind of get. The thing I think Minnesota's lacking is the big races.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't have the big trophy races, and interesting you bring that up because I was asked earlier this year to identify a big off-road electric race so that Associated could send one of their factory guys out for that race.
There's only one place we could do it.
There's only one place. Well, there's a couple places we could do it, but I don't have a date. I don't have one to tell him because when they say trophy race, they're thinking something like Cactus Classic or
It
Reedy
It would have to be Sean's or an outdoor one, which was
Right.
risky.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's no major
Yeah.
race for us to all rally around, which brings me to my next point in that there's a lot of racers in Minnesota,
Yep.
but they're not all in one spot.
And that's
Okay?
a tough thing.
There's guys at MMR. There's guys at 510. There's guys running
don't think you
MMRC.
could
There's
do-
guys running Super Saturday. There's guys running out at Rick's.
I've done the MMR thing,
Speaking of-
and I really, there are people that absolutely love it, hands down, and they have every right to. It's a great place. What they've done there is great. They have a lot of people, and I love how they get so many young kids into
Yes.
the hobby. It's a great place, regardless of anything else that's ever happened. I really do like what has happened there, and I think they've done a great job with that. And I just don't think that that's a spot that you could have a race of that
Yeah,
caliber.
that's kind of beside the point. I mean, it's just that you go down there on a Friday night, especially
Oh, it's
in the
great.
winter, the place is packed.
Yes.
They've got 65,
Yes.
70 people in the building.
Yes.
But so yeah, there is no central place yet for us to rally around. There's no central race yet.
We
for
really
us
need
to
Sean
rally around.
to have a yearly race, a single
Yeah.
yearly sponsored race.
And like, Starbuck has it, but some people have different feelings about Starbuck,
Starbuck would be great. The only problem with
It's in the middle
Starbuck,
of nowhere.
well, I can even get by that. The problem with Starbuck is you don't have any facilities there to support
That's true.
other people coming in.
Yep, you're right. The hotel's small.
Yes.
The hotels are a problem. It's remote. So
Cell
anybody
phone
coming
sucks.
from anybody
track
coming
is
from out of
fine.
state, they're
Yeah.
gonna fly into
St.
Minneapolis, St.
Cloud.
Paul, or possibly
And then
Fargo.
drive 3 to 4 hours
Yeah, it's a 2 or
with
3
no
hour
place
drive.
to stay for a hotel, so they're bringing a tent
Right.
or a trailer. Some of these, and I suppose I saw at the Nats in 2011 or 2010, whatever it was, out in Illinois, they had trailers for some of these people.
Yep.
Right.
But you're still looking at you're having a
Yeah,
trailer,
no, that's a pain. I know.
bathrooms.
And that's a great race just for people in the region.
It's a great race for the state.
For the
without
state,
a doubt.
people from North Dakota come, people from Wisconsin come. But yeah, I can see why no big time guys come. But you know what? If you wanted, let's say, Cav to come and you paid his way, you'd be there.
I don't know. You know, Again-
Sean Van Dalen was talking. He could have Tebow at every race if he
We
had
have-
every club race. if
we
he
have an
paid.
opportunity that we've never had before, and I've talked to Sean about this a little bit. And Sean, you never know when you're talking to him. Sometimes he'll say one thing and he'll do the other, but
We love you, Sean.
but he's before said, this is a lot of work. He's gone through a lot of work to get that track
Absolutely.
set up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's huge money,
It's-
huge time.
yeah, and what he's done, I mean, we couldn't thank him enough for what he's done.
Yep.
I mean, for us. And for him to do that, it's great. But we finally have a facility I would say is on par with what they have out at Trackside.
Yep, just a little
on
smaller.
par.
I'd say so.
And there's little, but even pits,
But we
get
can
by
make
that.
more.
We can figure out
Yeah,
that.
you can always make a temporary area in his
Yeah.
lounge or whatever.
That's going to be fine. I think we could make that work for a race, and he
Yep.
knows that. He said that to me. Is I'm not ready to put on a big race yet because we're just getting started. We're still working on everything.
I
You
like
gotta
that
make
he's,
sure he's not gonna lose his
Yeah.
shirt on doing
Yes.
a big race.
I like that he's got his wits about him on it.
Yep. No,
not
he's
just
taking his
jumping.
time with this.
He's
This isn't new to him. He's had
Yeah.
those tracks at home. He's gone through this before.
You know what else kills me about Minnesota racers?
We're crazy.
No,
We don't play along well with each
the
other.
fanboy mentality. And I figured out the cross between the fanboy mentality because we have a cult rock and roll church in Elk River. They will rock your face off. But anyways,
The one that Corey guitarist is
yeah.
part of. or
yeah,
whatever.
that's the one Head from Korn is part of. Yeah, you stay away from
Head?
that place. Yeah.
I know that
that's-
I've heard of him.
Yeah. Korn made T-shirts that said "We gave head to God."
Yeah, the guy flies in here for this stuff.
Yeah, he flies in for service.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. But wow. Yeah.
in Elk River, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, you get the same mentality. They have this idea, and I've been going through a little bit of religion school right now, and I've been learning certain things. And then these guys at this rock and roll church have the idea: every dollar and every minute we spend volunteering will get us closer to God. And that is the fanboy mentality of our RC community. Every minute we spend at that track, and every dollar we spend at that track will get me closer to the nuts
So I'm
of
God's
the
best
owner.
friend, you're saying?
That's not every racer. That is a small group of racers at every track, and it's so frustrating to see because they will not branch out. They will not leave that owner's side. They will not go.
That's fine. I think there's been some branching out recently.
Recently,
think that's
yes, but
fine. They'll find their own ground.
we got so many things going on in the state, and you gotta hit all of it, at least once or twice.
It would just be nice.
Well, you don't have to. It's a free country.
You're correct.
You should
To get the full racing experience.
It's good for your racing. It's good to build memories. It's good to experience different things.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
You know what? Even the Reno was great memories. Talking spec tires with Craig Kruger is always fun.
Yeah.
We won't get into it, but we'll poke at him.
So, I think getting, I hate to be the one always pushing us back on topic, but
Jerk. Taskmaster Greg.
back on topic, I think Sean, I am hoping this fall we can see that race,
Yeah, me too.
that one race.
Yeah, me too. Because it used to be, I think this might have been before your time, Greg, but we had a race that was starting to build momentum. It was called the Minnesota Massacre.
Oh, yeah.
We did that at
that's
we
a
did
blast,
that at Twin City Hobby and Raceway. So this was before you were here.
Yeah.
We did that I think 2 or 3 years, and
We had a couple violent named races.
well, yeah, because Swanee was involved, so that's why. But this race, it was a major. It was our big off-road indoor race, and did it for a couple of years. And with the time that we have spent going elsewhere, so Chicago, Nationals, Missouri,
Yep.
Iowa, all that stuff, we were finally able to start cashing in on some of this karma that we'd built with racing elsewhere in the country. People were coming in. Chad Dew was here to race.
Brandon Rhodey was here.
Rhodey was here.
Before Live RC.
Pre-live RC, but yeah, he was here.
He's a little dorky
We
kid.
had Alan Horn from Michigan was here. So we were able to draw these guys in, and they had a great time. We were having fun. Things were going the right direction. And then TCHR shut down, but that race was starting to build momentum, so there is no question that we have the capability to hold a race. There's no question that we'd be able to pull people off from all over the region and from other points in the country to come and race. It's just we have to have the race.
So obviously we can't talk for Sean, but there's some interest in this.
Yeah,
And it's something we could build, and he would be able to access and get a race of that caliber.
Yeah, and, there are people in the area now who have more access to the factories than we'd ever had in
Now,
the past.
what about the
So-
idea of doing this maybe not in the winter, but the fall? Something where we could
Might
probably
be
have
a
some...
little early,
No,
but
but the
it's
idea
possible.
behind it, one of the concerns we would have would be pit space.
Yep.
What if we were able to allow pit space outside too,
it's
in the
not raining.
pop-ups, things like
Yeah.
that?
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
pop-ups,
intense,
things like
yeah.
that, tents.
Yeah,
You know,
that's a good
somehow
idea.
build out
Yeah.
the idea of expanding for pit space. Maybe we
Yeah.
did something October range.
In fact, that
that's so
massacre
possible.
race, if I remember right, it was in October.
September.
Was it September?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's a big gap between that and, say, the Spectrum race.
Yeah, there's a gap there, and also it would be a nice way to kick off the Minnesota indoor off-road season for everybody. Before they spend 12 weeks in a row at a track and burn themselves out.
Exactly. Good point there too.
I think
You
it's
got to get there before the burnout.
Yeah.
great idea. I mean, hopefully the people that have control of it can.
Hopefully,
Yeah, so
Sean
Sean,
Van
if you do that
Dalen
for us,
is listening.
Yeah, so Sean, if you do that for us, that'd be terrific.
Yeah, we're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it. We'd all like to mark a day off to give you money.
Yeah.
So
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money.
You love it. You know it.
make sure you stock tires, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Buy your distributor out.
Yeah, I mean, there is no question that if we had some sort of major race like that, people would rally around it. We can make it happen.
You
There are
look at-
people that know how to do it. We have experience doing it in the past. It would happen, and it'd be cool.
I mean, even on the low end of what these big races pull, you're talking 2 to 250 entries, which
Yeah,
is
I would
double
say so.
what we normally see.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
So,
I have a cap at my races, but I've never even come close to hitting it. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as long as you can pit about 150 people in one building or
Yeah.
in one area, then you're good to
and
go.
again, I think that's where the timing for the year would really fit for Minnesota to be able to expand out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also nobody wants to come in Minnesota in January when it's negative 30
I would have to
degrees.
think you could rent like those tents that you have for like fireworks, where they're selling fireworks all the time and stuff.
Or like weddings, the
Yeah,
big
big
circus
tents.
tent, yeah.
Set one of those out in the parking lot and make everybody park down the street or something.
Yeah, I'm
Or
sure.
in the back. He has space in the back, I think,
Yep,
too.
I'm sure Murphy would help him out too, because he's good friends with the Murphy Chevrolet dealership or whatever. But yeah,
So there you go, Sean. We've laid out your plan for you. Go execute,
Yeah.
please.
Please.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah. Let us know. We'll give you some free promotion.
now let's jump in some negativity, guys.
Can we just end it now?
No, let's be positive.
We can't have a Minnesota podcast without negativity. That's what we do.
Yep. You hit him with kindness and you kick him in the groin with negativity.
Welcome to Minnesota, eh?
Yeah.
That's some hot dish.
We've noticed some issues with the race programs lately. Starting too late, needless breaks, etc., etc., etc. And this is with every program. You know what? As a race director, I can't say forced, but I am strongly encouraged to start the Starbuck races at noon.
We'll say forced.
Do you know how bad that kills me as a race director? I want to get going at 10:45, and I want to crush through the rounds.
Now, you understand, I've only been there a few times now, you understand that the general atmosphere there is RC cars as an excuse to drink, right?
Yeah, that's the only way I can do it. I come in with the mentality of we are partying while playing with RC cars.
Okay.
That's the only way I can do it. I mean, really, if you're not starting before 11 o'clock, and if you're not crushing through the races, it's hard for a race director. Marshall, I'm sure you've experienced this many times, to where you can make the program so much faster, but you're being held back.
Well, yes. It's been a very long time since I ran races, but basically along those lines, you have to develop a kind of a habit or a history of running your program on the schedule that you said you were going to run.
Yep.
As long as you do that and you're fair about it, then it seems to go okay. If you either don't communicate what the plan is and then try to run to that plan, or you communicate what your plan is and you don't run to that plan, that's when the problems start.
When Starbuck comes along, I'm going to wait for a printer problem. That always seems to be the issue at Starbuck. I had a printer problem last year. The year before, there was printer problems. We didn't get going until 2 o'clock in the afternoon because the idiots won't just go buy another $30 printer. Go buy a $30 goddamn printer if you're having printer problems. You know what I mean?
The part that bothers me about this, and I can understand both points, but the frustrating part is it takes so long to go to a race.
Yep.
So, like, there are other things that people have to do in their lives.
Yep.
People have jobs, people have wives, people have kids.
Yep, exactly.
It's hard to take the time to go to a race sometimes. And when you find that time and you want to go race, but then the schedule's slow, or however you want to say it, any of the combinations, there's so many different examples. It's not just one. It just seems like some of the people, because it's what they do, they turn it into an entire day or an entire weekend.
They think we want to be there with them constantly, which we like. We like being friends with the race director.
Oh, everybody.
We like being friends with the track owners, all that. But we don't want to spend 13 hours there. Now, I'm going to name a track name because I'm sure they don't listen to this, and if they do, I don't care. There's a place in Princeton, Minnesota called Lakeside RC. They run oval Friday nights. The program's supposed to start at 7. It doesn't start till 8:30. This is in the winter time because Friday nights in Princeton is big car racing. They don't start till then, and it's about an hour and a half program. You run two 20-lap heats, 6-second laps, you know, and then you run the mains. You're not out of there till 1 goddamn o'clock in the morning. You don't even have
Friday night.
You don't even have to charge your battery.
So, you know,
I love racing there, but I hate being there that long.
part of the problem I see, and I think some of this has gotten out of hand with the change in technology. Racing, I think, got longer. Correct me if I'm wrong, because this is really before me. But from what I've understood asking people, is racing got longer because of LiPo batteries and the ability to go longer. So you went from 4 to 5 minute heats to 8.
We went to there's 6-minute heats that I run.
What were they when you were running NICADs?
At the end, no, there were 6. They were
Not a NICAD.
No, not a NICAD, you're correct. NICAD, it was 4. Then we went to NIM.
Metal hydride, and that was 5.
NIMS, we went to 5, and at the end of NIMS, I think in
So add up all of
2002,
your
we went to
races.
6.
Add up
Right.
all of your races,
Yeah.
and then add all those minutes.
Yeah,
that adds,
if you have a 10-heat program, you just added 10 minutes and just
Okay.
pure race time.
Yep. Okay, great.
Round.
I'll give you pure numbers here. My last round at 510, we had 11 heats, 6 minutes per, 3 minutes in between each. And this is frustrating too. Every modern scoring program has a clock that will start the race for you. People need to use it and go by it to keep the schedule. But anyways, we'll go through that, whatever. We took 2 15-minute breaks and a 20-minute break for track maintenance in between each, because we missed the track in between rounds 2 and 3, and that took a little extra time. We blew the track off after that. 3 rounds and a main, 11 heats, 8 hours on the dot, running as quick as I could with the track maintenance, I should say. I mean,
8-minute runs.
there's 6. Everything's 6. It was 8 hours on the dot when I finished the last heat. I started at 10:45. It was done at 6:45.
Well, it's starting racing earlier.
That's a possibility too.
I mean, so, you know, again, before racing with you guys, the only other racing I'd ever seen was in Dayton, Ohio.
Yep.
And it was parking lot racing at Hobbytown.
Sweet.
And I ran an HPI RS4 at one point.
Oh, awesome.
Twice.
Purple Panda.
Yep.
Yep.
And then I went back to high school and said racing was stupid.
Yeah, well, you're right, but you fell back into it.
See how well you learned?
But I ran twice,
Yep.
and it was a lot of fun. You're
Yeah.
outside in the parking lot. They had like fire hose that they used
Yep,
for the
right,
barriers
yep.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And we started, I think, racing by 8, 9. I was out of there by 3:30.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, do you remember how many entries you had?
that's true. You gotta remember.
60s.
Yeah,
so
see,
not, and so, what, about 7, 8 heats? Maybe 9?
yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing, you know,
Okay, look at it this way. Each heat adds 36 minutes to the race program. One heat.
on what math? I'm doing the math in my head right now. So, 9,
You're doing 6 times 4, aren't you?
well, no, I'm just trying to add it in. So it's 9 times 4. Okay, so that's 36. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Just had to help me out there. I'm kind of slow.
Yeah, Greg's walking away from this conversation. So that's what you gotta look at too. Each heat is 36 minutes. People are like, "Oh, it's only one more heat in the day." Well, you know what, buddy? You're taking extra. You know, you're flirting with daylight is what you're doing.
Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of a balancing act because I've seen it both ways in the race direction I did.
Yep.
If there's the camp that you're in where it's like be efficient, be on time, keep things rolling.
Yep.
There's the other camp that says it's a club race. You've got kids out there that are trying to learn how to do this stuff, and they may they may not know everything right off the bat, so they may make a mistake that costs them a couple minutes. So you want to try to accommodate them to try to help them get with the program, and you know it's kind of a balancing act. And you know if you're looking at club racing on a Friday night, if you're there till 1 o'clock, yeah, that's a long night. It sure is. It's Friday night, going into the weekend though.
Yeah, that's true, but
And
that's rough.
you know,
man.
bar closes too.
When you know you don't have to be there that long. And the thing about it is, it's funny, the only people I have a heart for are sportsmen.
Right.
And those are the people I'll give time to. Do you know how rare that they need time? Because they're so
Yeah.
excited to get out there, they're ready
They
to
can't
go
wait.
5 minutes after they're done running, you know what I mean? So that's just one of those things.
Well, it's just from my experience, because I had to actually, I had to address this back when I ran race direction during weekly racing.
Yep.
And basically, I had a driver's meeting before the night where this started, and I said, okay, here's the deal. I will promise you we're starting race number 1 at 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
on the dot, okay? And I promise you there will be 2 minutes between each heat, period, okay? I have got a stopwatch right here,
Yep.
and I've got my, got my regular watch here as well. I will be on time. I expect you to be on time. I cannot wait.
Yep.
Because we used to have this problem. We used to do Tuesday night racing in Fargo during the winter. We had our record night on a Tuesday night was 125 entries
Wow.
on a weeknight
Yeah.
in Fargo. Okay, and
How
I
many
said
quals did you run?
it was
That'd be at least
Two-
14.
it was 2 heats in a main, and we had
4 minutes or 5 minutes?
there were
5 back then.
I think there were 5-minute heats.
Wow.
But yeah, it was 2 qualifiers in the main, and we had all sorts of grade school and high school age kids, so I had to
Yep.
get them out the door. But the way this went down was I at the start of the night during the drivers meeting, I said, okay, here's the deal: we must be on time. Look at all of you here. Thank you for coming. This is awesome.
Yep.
But I must be on time. I cannot wait for anyone.
Yep.
Okay. And it took about 4 people left behind, including my ex-wife,
That's awesome.
who I had to leave behind because she was not ready for her 2-wheel stock qualifier before they got it. And it
Yep.
took the first round, and all of a sudden people were on time and they were with the program because they knew I was not going to wait. And I also went the extra step to say, between rounds, we took like a 15-minute break, and I said, okay, we're starting heat 1 in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're starting heat 1 in 5 minutes. We're starting in 4. We're starting in 3. And once you do that
It's
and
very
get people
important,
accustomed to it, they'll do it.
It's very important to be on the mic like that, and I try to do as much as possible. And what's nice, like I said, about newer race programs, they all have that stopwatch up there for you. You want to know something really frustrating? Okay, during the Buggy Main was ran first for the MNRC race, and I noticed people flamed out, and I had a false start because not everybody was at the line.
Okay.
For the Treggy Main, I said, everybody bring your bump box to the line. They didn't, and I started without some people, and they got pissed. I told them, if they would have been trying to start it at the line instead of running back to the pits, and that's just it. Some people don't think they have to listen to you. They think that, oh, this person will wait for me. Guess what? I mean, by now, people should know I'm not going to wait for them unless they're a sportsman. I mean, there's I'll wait maybe for a main for like a minute, but there's no excuse. You should be ready.
There's a benefit to everything here. I mean, having your races start on time, having the day end earlier, having everyone be a little bit more timely, it benefits everyone. You have some people that come out of town. Some people don't stay in town. Some people have other things they have to do. They can only make certain parts of the race. It's nice to make it so that everyone is aware of what's going on and just be conscious or just aware of other people's time. Sometimes not everyone has 24/7 to revolve around
And
racing.
here's another situation too. Sorry, Marshall. I just got to finish this thought before. When my program is 8 hours, that is the proper time it takes. But when you see a program that's supposed to be 5 hours, take 8 hours, that's where the problem is.
Yeah, it's to me, this challenge is more of a human condition than anything. It's just a matter of telling people what to expect and then doing it.
Yep.
If a track's goal is to get everything done, then state that. Make sure it's clear. Do a driver's meeting so that everybody knows, and then actually do it. That's the most important thing. As long as you do what you say you're going to do, and you're fair about it, then the yelling gets minimized.
So I'm going to change topics here, and it's going to sound really odd coming from me because everyone knows that I absolutely love everything off-road.
Uh-oh.
Is there somewhere in Minnesota that they do outdoor on-road? Like,
Not
pavement,
anymore.
like parking lot racing?
Not that I
anymore.
know of.
That was fun when I did do it.
Andrew used to do Hobby Town USA in Minnetonka before that place took crap. Every Wednesday night.
I remember him laying, I mean, you were like outside summer,
He was...
black pavement dries quick.
Yo, you don't know, there's that. You don't know how many Heart of America races we got in that we shouldn't have. Okay, days when there was no rain, we would go through 5 rounds of qualifying just because we could. Because we expect rain, and we expected to run 3 rounds, But when there was time, we ran 5. And that, you know what, from those guys, that's how I learned how to run a race program. Because we got 5 rounds of qualifying in with daylight to spare. But anyways, there used to be Hobby Town, and we used to have 2 Heart of America races here, but there's not anymore. But you're right, parking lot racing is fun.
We have a lot of racing. We have a lot of racing local in the state. But one of the things that I just find frustrating is the lack. So I was able to race in Duluth.
Yep.
Duluth has something different with Gary. Gary can do things that nowhere else in the state do you see someone able to do, and he can get away with it, and that's great because of them.
Gary's making that track rich.
I mean, they have money in the bank. I mean, they could just start over if they wanted to.
They're the only race program in Minnesota that probably has money.
They're more profitable than people that do it for company.
Yep.
As a business.
All day long.
It just makes no sense. And they don't even have that many racers. It just the way Gary pulls money in, it's just amazing.
He's a force of nature.
He is.
He gets everything at a deal too. I mean, their driver's stand is a big shipping container.
Yep.
And that's where they keep all the track equipment too.
Storage.
Yeah. I mean, what a fantastic idea.
Yeah. No, he really. I mean, it's just fantastic.
We should have our own club.
That's where I'm getting.
But try that.
But
Didn't work.
We did?
More than once.
I don't remember an off-road one.
Outdoor off-road.
Let's see. I'm thinking TCR Triple C. That was back in the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah. I remember vaguely about an
The
RC
closest
track off
thing we
of
really
Frisbee
have is
Golf
gonna be
Course.
Jimmy's.
Nah, well, I mean,
That's
sort
really
of.
the closest outdoor real racing. I mean, Sean doesn't run outdoor in this. I mean,
He's
it
not
seems like
gonna.
he's not going to run outdoor in the summer anymore.
It seems
from
like it.
From what he said.
Yeah.
He's going to do. I mean, and why should he? He pays a lot of money for that building.
Okay, here's the deal. If there was club racing around here, I would have to kill my series, which would be fine. I race my series.
Not necessarily.
I run my series to make people aware of our series, like make people aware of the tracks.
Couldn't you just add that track to part of the series? You don't necessarily have to kill it.
When you say there's no club racing in the area, what do you mean exactly?
So something similar to Duluth, something similar to TCHR, something where
No.
it's
They're
not people
really
doing
different
it.
entities.
But
so.
hold on though, it's something that people aren't doing to make a profit. It's something.
Oh, TCHR was to make a profit. Believe me, it just didn't happen.
Okay, fine. But and I don't know those people, so maybe I don't know what.
Oh, you know plenty of them.
But it's something like Duluth is what I'm looking for. Something every Thursday night there's a race.
Yeah.
Something weekly that you could do without having to drive an hour to go do.
You're just looking for more locally.
Well,
Sean is
there
perfect.
is. I mean,
Sean is great. We have Sean's, and that's as good as it gets for racing. But he's not a weekly thing in the summer. He's more of a. It seems like more of a winter thing, from what I've been getting.
Yeah, and that's what fits. There's nothing
So,
wrong with that.
From a summer standpoint, your next best thing is Jimmy's,
Right.
right?
For
And-
dirt,
and-
yes.
And I think that's good. It is a bit of a drive for everyone in the cities.
Yeah.
And you're kind of hit or miss with things. I'm just-
Right now, he had to cancel races for Sunday because it's been raining so much up there that he has to have his track together.
Yeah, and he's getting good turnouts, and
Yeah.
it sounds like it's been a blast there.
Yeah, I went up there, 2 or 3 weeks ago, something like that, and it was
an hour-
great.
Hour
Yeah.
to an hour and a half drive, though.
It's for me it was just under an hour from the north side of the metro area.
It's an
Is it
hour
really
and 10 from
nowhere-
Elk River.
Is it really nowhere within a half-hour drive
Nope.
Not for outdoor dirt, no.
that you could put one?
Oh, well, you,
That turns into a whole topic again. I mean,
yeah, whole nother topic.
Studies have been made. No
Yes.
trigger has been pulled.
What does TCHR do in the summer?
Wait, what did he say?
TCHR doesn't
They
exist.
died.
Yeah,
What is, what's your local?
TCHR in the summer, what they
Are you
have,
talking, you're talking about torque.
Torque, the one you do.
Oh.
Okay, here's the
I'm
deal.
sorry, I did not mean to offend anyone.
Yes, because
come on, Greg.
you're really beating a dead horse with TCHR.
Sorry.
With torque, torque would be what you would want to start with.
Yes.
Because they are already a nonprofit. They're already set up as a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
That is not easy to do.
So,
Well, okay, I
so
should say
similar,
it's easy. There's a lot of
similar to
paperwork.
Duluth. That's what I meant.
It is a similar club to Duluth.
Why can't we do something with them?
The land is so much more expensive.
And the question I have for you guys is, why would you want to? Because, I mean, there's already racing here.
We would have to.
I just bought an M12, and
And you
it's
want
been
to race.
4 weeks, and I have not been able to run it.
You gotta get rid of the fanboy mentality. Everything would have to become one entity. We would have to come up with committees, fair committees. We would have to come up with this, that, and the other. It's
So you look at like, I
it's
went
a
racing
different-
once.
I don't
with
wanna sound
Ben
like a-
Shore
yeah.
in
Okay.
in Nebraska.
Yep.
Hater, I think it was hate something like that. It was a great track. It was at a local park.
Yeah.
I guarantee it was
We've held
free.
Heart of America races at parks before.
And it's set there. They run there every month.
Yeah.
Why is there nothing like that?
We had something.
Nonprofit.
We had some. Hold on. Go ahead, Marshall.
I got nothing.
There was a RC track on a New Brighton Frisbee golf course back in the 80s and 90s, and just never materialized. And then here's another thing you gotta look at, Greg.
Maybe I'm just being stubborn. I'll take that as an answer.
No, we have a different competition level down here than they do up there.
So down here is in Minnesota versus up there in Nebraska?
No, up there in Duluth. Up there in Duluth.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, I ain't get my north and south.
Nebraska, it's in the mountains,
I ain't get it switched up. No.
No, I got you, Duluth. Yep, now I'm following you now.
I mean, up there you have Jim Scott running bow ties on an old B4 having a blast. You don't have that down here. You're not even close to that down here.
I believe Mike Scott runs down here.
Mike Scott puts money in his equipment, though. Mike Scott.
I liked racing with
Besides
Scott,
Mike-
though. He was a fun guy.
Yeah,
to
no,
run with.
I love Jim Scott. Don't
And-
get me wrong, but he has
You're
very
right,
little money to
he's-
put in
He
RC,
doesn't, no,
and
he doesn't put the money
Yeah.
into it. And same thing with him, and same thing with Gary. I mean, Gary will dump a ton of money into his
Speaking
car,
of
but he
Duluth
doesn't work on
guys,
it.
speaking of Duluth guys, I just got to bring this up because I haven't been able to bring it up on a podcast. Last year, we had a frequency conflict in a main.
Oh, gosh.
That's all I wanted to say. Up in Duluth.
That was so hilarious.
Up in
Are
Duluth.
we going to run into this at Starbucks?
I don't care.
What is the rule on frequency conflict?
You know what my rule is? I don't care if you run 75 megahertz or whatever. You run what you want. But this is 2013.
I think my rule would be...
I don't care. You figure it out for yourselves. I am not stopping a race for you to change your stupid crystals.
If you see another magic wand on the driver's stand, be worried.
be very,
Who's
very scared.
I-66? That's my primary frequency.
I got the
Who's
clip.
I-66?
I got the clip and the blue clip.
Lord.
What clip?
Yeah. What's a clip? You know, that is one of the best things I've seen go away in RC car racing is that stupid, ugly frequency board with the closed pin.
Oh, 2.4 is great.
It is. And it's finally getting fast.
So if anybody out there wants to start an outdoor track in the cities, yeah.
I'd say talk to Torque because we're already set up as a non-profit.
Okay, what do I got to do?
You talk to
Because
Torque.
I mentioned it to Homer, and he told me they weren't going to do it now.
They could do it. It's just, okay, here's the deal. Homer got elected president. Then
He said he had the perfect place for it.
Then he got a girlfriend. You know what happened there?
So, isn't the O in torque, doesn't that stand for on?
On, off.
Okay.
Yeah, see, it was on dash
Okay,
off.
fine. Even on road.
No,
What are they doing right now?
we started this club.
For next winter.
Yeah.
So maybe they should be running outdoor parking lot
No,
races.
you're right. We brought that up,
I just want
and we
weekly
can't
racing.
get interest.
I want to be able to do something on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Some
It's
night
tough
that
to get
is
up to
easier for me to do.
Yeah. No, it's tough to get up to Jimmy's. I miss Tuesday night racing at Twin City Hobby.
I want a weeknight race that I can go race and not worry about stuff and come home.
Twin City Hobby right there, they had a type program. We started racing at 6:30 and we were gone at 10. We ran 3 rounds of qualifying in the main, 6 minutes. But we ain't had the turnout. And that's how we were out of there by 10, but they still ran a tight program. But that's the thing, you gotta just, dude, it's so much work. I'm sitting there thinking of,
So we got to take Silver Bullet and we got to bring him
we
down
gotta
here.
move him down here because he is
So we're gonna come up
motivated.
with rent.
Yep.
That's nothing. What we get $600 a month, $700 a month.
Right.
Let's get that taken care of.
Yeah,
Cockroaches are free.
yeah. Bullet's motivated by Bullet's motivated by the love of the hobby, which is very rare.
Yeah, he'll take care of everything. He'll build the whole track.
Yeah.
And he'll rebuild it 3 times during the year.
Dude, thinking about this is giving me an aneurysm. I just, it can be done, and I know how to do it. I don't want to. I I have a very full plate myself.
We really
And
need
it seems
a
like
group. But I would be, and that's the thing, is I'm willing to put some time into it.
Yeah.
I'm just not willing to do it all myself. I'm willing to put some money into it, but I'm not willing to fund it all myself.
Well, yeah, but it's
It's something that you would have to have
We need
multiple people
a
willing to do it.
big donation to start.
But I think the money. I don't think the money's the
We've gone
problem. I
through
think it's
this
the
a
people who
million
put the time
times.
into it.
Yeah, that's the bigger problem at hand.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean-
But we've been through this a million times every which way. It's just. And
Now,
you got guys.
there's no one person who will go out there and do all the work.
Yep. Besides, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's just too.
Not for outdoor for free.
Yeah.
Not without a job title to it.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, let's just stop talking. I'm
giving everybody
dying
a
right now. How?
Up on 2 hours.
Yeah, let's talk about the next rounds coming up.
Starbuck, state champs.
Starbuck. Not only an off-road state champ will be crowned, but the best overall crossover
So
race.
who's really competing for that? Who was in the A main and
I can
12
think of
skill?
one guy.
I
No,
can
there's
think of
more
a
than one
few
for sure.
people that might be there.
So because Rita
I
and
have a forum started.
possibly Andrew,
I
think,
no.
if he shows up.
I heard the MMR guys might show up.
That's what I heard too. So
I heard
that would be
Mike.
two for sure.
Okay.
But there's a few people. Last year there was a whole bunch more.
Who else was in the A main and 12 skill?
There was a bunch. You don't have to be. There's a point system.
I thought it had to be the A main.
No, there's a point system.
I'm sorry.
You got to race 12 scale stock and 2-wheel drive modified buggy.
Yeah, but
And you see, I got a point system set up with everybody. It goes from 0 points to 80 points. Least points.
it's off of the state champs races.
Yes, state champs
So
race.
basically, your A main 12 skill racers is what we're looking for right now.
Or possibly B.
Yeah, I
Possibly
don't think I counted out of that.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'd be
how many A main 12 scale racers are going to be in the C main first?
You'd be
Mod
surprised.
So the only other one, oh, you know who there was? Tony Block. He told me if somebody would give him a buggy for one race, he would come to Starbucks. Tony Block a buggy.
I'm sure we could scare him up a buggy
We
somehow.
could get him a buggy, he would come to Starbucks.
I've seen him running
told
off
me he
road
would
car
do it.
once.
I can hold him to it.
He ran it for 2 laps,
I'll bring him beer.
and he was not a happy camper.
Yeah, no, I think he could do it at Starbucks.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that going. The best crossover award. That is coming up. That race is coming up. It's a weekend race from July 12th through the 14th. I'm not making any promises, but we might have a food trailer there this year.
That would be awesome.
Rockin'.
Yeah. I'm talking good food. Like, they got cheese curds. They got these foot-long corn dogs. They taste like Pronto
It's
Pups.
the same one from North Branch.
Yeah, the same guy
The
from
one we're
North
looking at.
Branch. You know,
And I'm holding Jose or Senior accountable if they don't show up.
yeah, he was the one who was supposed to sweet talk him. But, yeah,
To make trips into downtown Starbucks
Yep.
for,
that would be a fun race.
Yeah.
I will
Their
bring,
salad bar.
yeah.
I've seen this happen before. I'm saying this as a warning. Bring other things to drink than beer. Bring water. I don't,
So you expect us to stay for the race?
yeah. Oh, you know what?
That's the idea. I don't know.
That's another thing I wanted to hit on,
Because I
too.
was up till 5 a.m. that Friday night, I
A
think.
nasty habit started last Starbuck, and I wanted to touch on it, and I just want to touch on it quick. People who come and practice, get pissed off, and leave.
That was different, though. We were
No,
drinking heavy that night.
It's been going on all year long, and it started last Starbuck. Well, I've seen it before, but that's when it started becoming an issue. And the biggest issue is they are not paying track owners practice money. You put your tires on that dirt,
Well,
you owe the
maybe
track
this is more
owners
of a management
practice
issue.
money.
Maybe we require payment before you put your car on the track.
It should be. But, usually when you're coming to the track, you're going to race and you're going to pay to race.
Well, that's fine.
You are not going to be entered into the
But let's-
program until
maybe
you
we
pay.
should just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference? Everybody that showed up, we're planning on racing, so why
Yeah,
is it
until
better
a
for us
bunch-
to pay?
It's just frustrating when
Well,
people
but it's
do that.
a
crap.
management issue, though, at this point.
Yep.
If it's really becoming a problem,
Yep.
it should be a management
Yep.
issue.
But anyways, from now on, if you come to the track with the right attitude and plan on racing. But
But I might have the wrong attitude.
well then, go smoke a lot of marijuana and play frisbee
Well,
golf.
that's not going to happen.
All right, that's why I always tell people when they have some kind of beef with the RC racing, well, go smoke pot and play frisbee golf. That's what they should be doing.
It's competitive.
Yeah. But Starbuck, Minnesota State Champs coming up July 12th through the 14th up in Starbuck, Minnesota. Keep your eyes on Facebook, forum boards, all that for addresses. I will tell you now, I'm not sure if they fixed it yet, but I doubt it. Do not Google Map it.
Yeah, you'll end
Google
up way
Map
out
will
there.
send you 30 miles away.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Talk to people who have been there, and we'll get you on
Yes.
the right track.
Correct. It's simple to get to, just don't Google Map it. Or worse yet, don't do iPhone Map, man. You'll end up in
Siri doesn't fix that for you?
You'll end up in frickin'
Baltimore.
yeah. Yeah.
Siri, you can turn. I bought that iPad, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep. Siri, you can turn her off.
Yeah.
That was really
Excellent.
cool. Yeah, she can go off.
Yeah. So, but anyways, then the next Minnesota Nitro Series race is the weekend after that. That's the 19th through the 21st at Full Throttle Raceway at Sean Van Dalen's big track at his joint off of County Road 43 in Starbuck. Foley.
Speaking of bad directions,
Yeah.
So Starbuck, we're starting Saturday at around noon.
No. We will hustle the mains. we will hustle
But
through
that's
the
under
meetings on
force.
Sunday.
Basically.
Yeah, because everybody's got to work Monday.
No, I meant the Starbucks starting it.
Yeah, Starbucks time is not
So
my
Sundays,
decision.
are we start? What is the Sunday start? Can we start earlier on Sunday?
We're starting at 10.
10 a.m. on Sunday.
10 a.m. on
This
Sunday.
is recorded, right?
This is recorded. We started.
It's being broadcast.
Yeah,
Can
we start.
we copy this and
Yes.
send this to Jay?
We started at 10 a.m. last year too.
We did. Okay.
Yes.
'Cause we got the AAA mains. What time did we get done? 4 or 5?
3. When I looked at the clock, it was 3:40.
3:40. Good.
So that's not terrible. Oh, one more thing. Starbuck track build next Saturday, June 29th. In the morning, early afternoon, we are building.
Free rides if you can make it to Juniors.
Yeah, free rides if you can make it to my house by 8 o'clock. I can fit 4 other people in my Tahoe.
I went last year. Unfortunately, due to work circumstances, I will not be there this year. But I can say the free practice is
Yes.
very beneficial to those.
There
who get out.
there will be free
No
practice.
fair, man. You got
Yeah.
free practice. That's no
You helped
fair.
build the track. I think you deserve it.
That's no fair, man.
Oh God! I'm so glad certain people are just gone from the Nitro series. So, oh my, that just. Oh,
Really going to change the layout here. It's
yes.
not going to be just one jump moving.
Nope.
You sure? Because it's been the same layout I've heard for like 10 years.
We're flattening it. We got to keep the raised tabletop.
Okay.
At the
That makes
far end of
sense,
the
yeah,
corner.
where the water is.
Because there's an underground creek that comes up. Actually, it's funny.
I will justify that there was underwater there.
Greg Gritton thought that there was water coming into the building, but it was water rising from underground, and it soaked all of his stuff he had on the ground. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, those
Oops.
bags are really cool till they get wet.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oops.
So, anyways, yeah, we'll.
I'd like to know why you or your dad didn't pick it up and put it on the table either, by the way.
I think they were trying to sabotage you.
No, we were actually watching our own stuff and moving it. We were watching our own stuff and moving it.
Jabber and I were sitting there, we walk in, everything was soaked.
Yep.
Good morning.
Yeah, exactly. So that should be it for the day. I mean, do you guys got anything else?
Hey,
I got nothing.
state champs.
Yep, state champs. I want to see at least 100 entries.
We're talking about possibly doing a live podcast out there
Yep,
at the state
we're
champs.
talking about a live podcast. That would be sweet. I'm sure we could get the internet connection to do it. We would have to do it in the house.
No, that's fine.
They only get 1.5 meg of internet
We may
speed out
have
there.
to take, what do you think, taking a couple of the leaders, top qualifiers, pull them
Yeah.
in?
We could have
that'd be cool.
we could have a couple of podcasts that weekend. I learned
Make multiples and merge them into one. Yeah.
I learned my lesson last time. I'm not getting hammered Friday night again.
Yeah, that was that night,
Right.
me, you, and Steve.
I was up till 4 a.m. Somehow my eyes opened at 7:30 a.m.
It was a late night.
And I said, if I don't get up now to run these races, I'm never getting up. I threw up in my mouth 6 times during the day.
That's hot.
Yeah, but I did get the races done somehow. I'm surprised nobody was watching me close enough.
The whole band area back there, though, is pretty cool for those that haven't made it in there.
Oh yeah, the Doom Room. They had a big concert there last week, 400 people.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, yep. So let's end this on the thought of the Minnesota State Champs in Starbuck. Think about it. Get there. Help us build the track.
Indoors.
Indoor guaranteed racing.
Yep. It's a happy thing. It's a
Yes.
fun time. Go.
Yep. So
Join us.
Yep.
Won't you?
On this rain delay edition of Ran Out of Talent, I'm Jose Jr.
This is Greg.
I'm Marshall Scary.
And we're done at the 1 hour and 58 minute mark.
See you next time.